Hello, everyone. It's Tuesday here at the Drive-In, and I'm your host, Brian Jew. It's so cold outside. Yes, it is cold, and that's why you have to have a warm cup of coffee every morning. That's what I try to do. It helps out a lot. To be honest, right now, I'm doing a 30-day challenge, so I'm trying to not drink coffee. So instead of coffee, I drink a nice, warm cup of tea. And I'm drinking for breakfast right now some blueberries, strawberries, spinach, protein shake, and I urge you guys to do it. I know I put it on my fan pages, and that's why I urge you guys to do it. But most importantly, we got some great news for you guys right now. Disney, owners of Lucasfilm, are in discussion with the director for Star Wars Episode 7, which they plan to release in 2015. The man the rumors are discussing is Colin Trevorrow, director of Safety Not Guaranteed. Fans have been dreaming of someone like Christopher Nolan or J.J. Abrams to take over the Star Wars franchise, but given that Star Wars has such a big name, they don't need a high-profile, expensive director, so Lucasfilm is likely going to go with a lower-profile director. And in an interview, Trevorrow said, quote, "I will hopefully make it not stink." Yes, well, Star Wars fans everywhere hope the same. Please, Mr. Trevorrow, if you're going to do a Star Wars movie, read the books, watch the films, and don't do any gratuitous fan service if it's not necessary. We don't need all that. That is the biggest news this week for movie news, and we'll start today's show with a song from KT Tunstall from the 2006 film The Devil Wears Prada. Here's the song, Suddenly I See. Check it out. Welcome back to The Drive-In with your host, Brian Jew, in the studio. I try to make that rhyme, Brian Jew studio. It doesn't really work. Yes, I'm not naturally a gifted rapper. Anyway, I want to let you guys know how to get in contact with us. You can call us at the studio at 02778-1013. Send us a text at sharp1013 for a charge of 51, or email us at efmdrivein@gmail.com, or simply send us a tweet at efmdrivein. And if you have any requests at all, but make sure they are from a movie or TV series, they can't be any pop track, please send all your requests to us, or just a shout out. A shout-out really means a lot to us here at The Drive-In. And right now, it's time for the scene of the day. All right, we could keep talking about winter and autumn and how autumn just is really short and it's really cold outside. But you know what? One thing we didn't mention here at The Drive-In were sports. And the sport that I want to talk about today is football. Yes, football. American football, not soccer. We're not going to talk about soccer. I know a lot of people from the UK think that football is soccer, but I'm talking about American football. Not rugby, American football. And I know we gave a shout out to Alex and Peter on This Morning. The program is called This Morning, right before our program. And they were covering the baseball playoffs a few months ago, but pretty soon they're going to have to talk about football. Yes, American football, not soccer. And we're going to beat them to the punch today about a great football movie. So let's think about some football movies. There were so many great ones in the States. We had Necessary Roughness, Varsity Blues. Do you remember that one? James Vanderbeek was in Varsity Blues, right? Yes, that's right. Yes, from Dawson's Creek. The Replacements, Remember the Titans. I actually cried during Remember the Titans. That was a very good movie. There's so many, but today we're going to talk about a very, very great film about football, and this is called Any Given Sunday, which was released in 1999, the same year Fly to the Sky debuted. I had to throw that in because tomorrow's our 13th year anniversary. Anyway, Any Given Sunday stars Al Pacino as Tony D'Amato, the coach of the Miami Sharks in the AFFA. The AFFA might as well be known as the NFL, but I guess the movie makers didn't want to pay a lot of money for, licensing for using the name NFL. Anyway, the Sharks are owned by Christina Pagliacci, played by Cameron Diaz, who inherited the team after her father passed away. And her father was very loyal. He's a very loyal coach, too. Loyal to Coach D'Amato. And she was running things a little bit differently than expected. And there's also some drama behind the aging Sharks quarterback, played by Dennis Quaid, and the rookie quarterback, played by Jamie Foxx. Well, the Sharks in the 1999 season are a good team, but not the greatest, and it's very important that you're a great team. But this isn't the basic average sport movie where the team pulls it through in the end. We actually get to know the players in this film, and they struggle a lot through this film if you actually see the film. And in one scene, they have a huge game that will determine if the season will end for them or if they continue into the playoffs. They're coming off a bad game where they looked terrible, and it seemed as if they were only playing for themselves. Everybody was kind of, greedy, as in a lot of sports. And then Coach D'Amato needs to motivate all the players to get them back in the game. So he gives them a great motivational speech. So let's listen to the great speech that Coach D'Amato says to the team. Check it out. Typical Al Pacino with his, I guess, he's very motivational, I think so. And if I had a coach like him, I'd be ready to, take the guys on another team. Although I'm not a really great football player. I played basketball growing up. I'm not that great at football. But I enjoy watching football. All right, one neat thing that they did in this film to have actual players as actors. Yes, that's true. The actual football players, official players, Lawrence Taylor, Jim Brown, both had major roles. And there are also cameos by Bob St. Clair, Wyatt Tittle, Dick Butkus, John Unitas, and Warren Moon. And if you're a football fan, you need to watch this movie. You need to. I recommend this film. I saw it a few years ago. Great film. And if you're fans of hip-hop, too, you got to watch this movie because Mr. LL Cool J has a major role in this film as well. And speaking of LL Cool J, let's take a listen from a song by him that was in the film. This is Shut 'Em Down, and I want to recommend this and dedicate this song to Alex, who actually requested this scene from this movie. So, Alex, this is for you. That was my man LL Cool J with Shut 'Em Down from the Any Given Sunday original soundtrack. Yes, LL Cool J was a rapper, for those of you who don't know. He's not just an actor. He's a great actor, though. You got to give it up to him. Anyway, coming up on today's show, it is Tuesday, so that means Jason, Mr. JB, will be joining us to talk about Korean films today after intermission. So please stay tuned for that, and that will be coming up very shortly. I also want to remind everyone how to subscribe to our podcast. If you have iTunes, you can search for The Drive-In on TBS efm 101.3 and subscribe there. And if that's too complicated for you, then we also tweet every time an episode is uploaded, so you can just click on the link then. Remember, our Twitter is at EFM Drive-In. Anyways, I got information about the next song for y'all, and this is a request from Peach from the 1993 film Sleepless in Seattle, one of my favorite films of all time. You might recall we did feature this film on one of our Scene of the Days a while back. For those of you who've not watched this film, it stars Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, and honestly is probably one of the best romance movies of the 1990s, and I recommend each and every one of you to watch it. Especially right now, the weather's kind of cold outside. It's really romantic. This is called the romantic weather for me, because you can cuddle under a blanket with your lover, and do what you want to do behind closed doors. Anyway, I don't want to get into detail with that. Here's Jimmy Durante with the song As Time Goes By, requested by Peach from the Sleepless in Seattle soundtrack. Once again, that was Jimmy Durante with As Time Goes By from the Sleepless in Seattle original soundtrack, requested by Peach. And right now, I want to read some Twitter comments. I didn't get to those earlier, but we have one from Mayanne. She said, yes, I remember Sleepless in Seattle. Sure, it is cute. Try watching Kate and Leopold. Hugh Jackman, you're silly, Brian. Ha, ha, ha. So who are you saying silly, me or Hugh Jackman? I think Hugh Jackman's silly. I'm not silly. I'm just chill. That's what I say. Also, we have one from Ongi D. She wrote, Brian G Music, EFM Driving. I request Take Me to Your Heart by Michael Learns to Rock from Gundam Seed Destiny. It's my favorite song. Okay. We'll keep that in mind. Never heard that song before. Never saw the film or TV show. Not sure if it's a movie or a TV show. We also have one from Nini Lent. Nicole Nini Lent wrote, Brian G Music, EFM Driving. So good to hear your voice today, B. Hope you're having a great morning. Yes, I am, because I get to read tweets from all the fans around the world. We have one from Brian G Canada, Toronto going against Calgary for Grey Cup, CFL. Well, I don't know which team you're voting for or rooting for. I hope the team that you're rooting for wins. Oh, no, I don't watch CFL. Sorry about that. I don't know nothing about that. Anyway, we have also BFF Jaywalker Asiatic. She wrote, Disney owning Star Wars made the world cry. I can see it sucking even before production starts bitter. No, don't judge, because what if it becomes even better? Because Disney has, let's put it this way, Disney has a lot of money. So that means they can put a lot of money in production. It's going to be great. So don't judge. Give it a chance, and Disney will do its duty to the movie. Anyway, I have information about the next song, and the next song is a request from Lucian from the 2012 film Brave, which I haven't seen yet, but I do want to see. It's an animated film, I believe. And yes, it is. The animated film, it's about a Scottish princess who accidentally turns her mother into a bear. Okay, I did want to see this movie till I just read that. That's really random. But after they spend some time with each other, as they try to turn her back into a woman, they grow to understand each other more. Yes. And Here's Julie Fowlis with Touch the Sky from the Brave original soundtrack. Welcome back to the drive-in. This music makes me want to sing that way. And now it's time for K-Film Tuesdays with Jason Besservase. It rhymed. Oh my gosh,
that
I
was
made
really
it rhyme.
good. I'm not going to attempt to respond to that in rhythm because I think...
Why not?
I can't sing. So I think
We're going to make it a musical thing.
I'll shatter the windows in here.
Jason, did you have breakfast this morning?
I did.
Anyway, it's K-Film Tuesday time with your man Jason B. And how's your morning so far?
It's going well. It's very chilly outside.
It is.
Very, very cold.
It's cold.
I got out this morning and I got in my car and I was like, whoa, this is really, really chilly. Coldest morning of the year so far for me, or this winter. So, yeah, very chilly, but it's very, very beautiful, very, very sunny.
And the worst part about being chilly outdoors is when you go indoors here in Korea, a lot of the buildings, it gets too hot. So when you're wearing a huge jacket, you have to take it off. And as soon as you go outside, it's even colder again, so you have to put the jacket back on. And what's worse for me right now is not only that it's cold outside, I'm drinking this green gunk for breakfast.
Yeah, what is that?
It's a health drink because I'm trying to detox all the funky, nasty gunk that I built from eating, stuff like pizza, fast food, and processed foods.
You're making me feel bad. That's probably what I should be doing right now. But
Well,
it just seems too difficult.
Like I've been saying, I urge everybody, I'm talking about everybody in the studio, outside the studio, to do this. It's not that hard. You just have to have great mind control and tell yourself you need to eat healthier. Yes. I'm not doing this to lose weight or anything. That's crazy. I don't need to lose weight. I'm not, overweight or anything, but trying to be healthy.
That's good.
Yes.
I've got a lot to learn from you, Brian.
But today we have to learn from you. Which K-film did you bring for all the listeners today?
Okay, well, the film I've brought today is Unbowed, or Buddha Jin Hwasal. That was released earlier this year. The reason I brought this in is because the director, Jung Ji-young, he's got a movie coming out this week, which I'll talk a little bit later, called National Security, or Namyeongdong, 1985, 1985. That I saw that movie in Busan. I was incredibly overwhelmed by it. It's a fantastic film. And this film, Unbowed, is an equally impressive film. I would say it's probably one of the best films to be released this year.
Oh.
It's an absolutely fantastic film. It stars An Sung-gi, who's been in a whole list of films, more recently with Pacemaker, Sector 7, May 18th, and even The Housemaid back in 1960. Also stars Park Won-sang, Na Young-hee, and Kim Ji-ho. Now, I'm going to give you a bit of a lowdown in terms of the story, because this is actually based on a true story. It follows Kim Kyung-ho, who's played by An Sung-gi, and he's a math professor who was fired by his university in 1995. And after he questions the validity of a maths question in its entrance exam, Kim files a lawsuit for unfair dismissal, but it is ruled in favor of the university. Then in 2007, after his appeal was dismissed, Kim, out of frustration, confronts the presiding judge outside his apartment with a crossbow. A physical struggle soon ensues, and Kim is arrested, but maintains that he did not shoot the judge, while the judge claims he was shot by an arrow. And the media is whipped into a kind of frenzy over the incident. And then meanwhile, Park Jun, played by Park Won-sung, a lawyer, in a lot of debt, is approached by Kim's wife to take on the case. And he's got a good hunch about the case, but she changes her mind when she notices his drinking problem, and then later Kim and Park are introduced, but Park refuses to take on the case when confronted with the obstinate yet principled Kim. But faced with the debt problems, he has no choice but to take on the case. So there you go. It's kind of a bit of a convoluted way of explaining the story, but it's basically based on a true story, and it's really, really inspiring. It actually made 3.4 million admissions here in Korea. Now, this film was a very, very low-budget film. It premiered in Busan Film Festival last year, where it was received very, very well by the critics and the audience, and it went on release in January and made 3.4 million admissions. It was basically basically a very, very big hit, but unexpected hit.
Why do you think it did so well?
Well, I think it tackled this issue with the kind of the legal system here in Korea with the prosecutors and how much power they have, and looking at someone that's trying to challenge this system and do it in a fair way. And I think the audience really, really really wanted to. They got inspired behind this film, and they got quite angry too, because the film is quite critical of the legal judicial system here in Korea. And I think the audience really got behind it. In order for this film to actually break even, it would only have to make around about 500,000 emissions. So the fact that it made 3.4 million emissions is incredible. And I think the guys, or certainly some of the actors on this film, I don't think they got a full cut when they agreed to work on it. And I think their cut was basically subject to how well the film would do. So there was a bit of risk involved in working this, in being cast in this movie, but they actually did very, very well out of it, because the film made a lot of money, and deservedly so. And this director, Jung Ji-hyun, it's really interesting because he made films back in the 80s and 90s. That's where he had his kind of heyday. And he had quite a long hiatus, I think about 12, 13 years. And he came back with this film, Unbowed, like I say, released earlier this year. And I think it's so great that a director who was making films back in the 80s and then comes back with this film. I just think it's remarkable. And it's a testament to his ability as a director.
Okay. All right, well, right now, we're going to listen to a song from Maya. This is Never Give Up, the An Sung-gi 주연 Pacemaker film that came out in 2011, original soundtrack. Check it out. Here's Never Give Up.
아저씨가 자기 자신을 위해서 달리는 거, 그 모습 보고 싶었던 사람들한테 미안하지도 않아요?
Yes, that was confusing because a lot of people are probably listening to this song and wondering, who's talking during the song? That was actually An Sung-gi and the female actress, and their lines were actually played in the background during the song. Actually threw me off guard too. I was like, who is talking? Jason, why are you talking in Korean while we're listening to this song? But it's actually from the film, from the Pacemakers, right?
Yeah, it's from the Pacemaker, starring An Sung-gi, who's actually in this movie, Unbowed.
Yes,
so
and that's
there
why
you go, there's
played,
a connection. That's
why we played the song, because right now we don't have the soundtrack for 풀어진 화살, so hopefully we'll get that soon. Okay.
Yeah, well, actually, I don't think there's really a soundtrack. There's just some kind of orchestral music, kind of score music in Unbowed, really, rather than the kind of full-blown OST.
Well, hopefully we can listen to that in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So, in terms of what's going out, or coming out, should I say, this week, the film that I was referring to earlier, National Security, from the same director, Jung Ji-hyun. It's going to be released this week, 22nd of November. I strongly encourage any of you that are here in Korea to go and see it. I don't think it's showing subtitles, but if you can understand Korean, then I strongly recommend you go and see it. The film is based on a memoir written by the famous politician Kim Gun-tae, who was once imprisoned by the Korean Central Intelligence Agency, otherwise known as KCIA, for 22 days during the military dictatorship for his role in the democracy movement in the 80s. And it's an incredibly powerful film, very grueling. It's very difficult to watch, but it's a very, very, very important film. And I went to the premiere in Busan, and the cast were there. The widow of Kim Gun-tae was there. It's a very emotional experience and something I'll never ever forget. So it's definitely definitely you have to go and see it.
Alrighty. So, with that said, we have one more announcement, actually. I just want you guys to know right now that if you want to come to our studio as a guest, Brian Ju is inviting you guys right now. I'm cordially inviting you guys to come into the studio on Friday, November 30th. Not this Friday, but Friday, November 30th, to meet me and actually see me do my thing in the radio studio. So, you can send us a tweet or email or give us a call. Whatever it is more convenient for you. And obviously, you physically have to be here in Korea. We can't send you a plane ticket from another country and be like, hey, come to Korea. That's a little expensive for us here. We're not that financially set right now here. But if you are in Korea, please send us a tweet, email, or call. And I'm pretty sure Eugene and PD, Mrs. Pak PD, will actually have that set up for you guys to get in here. And there are a limited number of seats, so get on that fast as soon as possible right now and come join me, Brian Ju, on November 30th. And, Jason, it's that time already.
Yeah, such a shame. It just goes so quickly, you know?
You know what it is? You know what they say. When you're having a great time, time flies. And
Yep.
when you're with Brian Jew, time flies.
Absolutely. It flies by like the wind.
Yes, it does. And flies like fly to the sky. I just had to say that. That was a cheesy.
That's the second time you mentioned that. It's great. It's great.
Because actually, for those of you who don't know, tomorrow is officially the day me and Juani debuted as Fly to the Sky, our 13th year together as a group.
Wow. Are you doing anything special?
As of right now, no, unfortunately. Because Juani's doing his military duty, so there's nothing really we can do. So I urge you guys to just continue to support us and send a lot of tweets, I guess. And we're going to send off Mr. Jason with a song from the 깡패 같은 애인 original soundtrack because Park Won-sang is in this movie. So we're going to play a song that he's in. And this is Kim Jo-han with 그녀를 찾네요. Thank you, Jason. I'll see you next week.
You're very welcome. See you next week.
Once again, that was Kim Jo-han with 그녀를 찾네요 from the 내 깡패 같은 애인 original soundtrack. And right now I want to read some Twitter comments for you guys. And we have Ogni D. She's already congratulating you right now. Congratulations for your 13 years debut. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me and Juani right now. Also, Claire is asking, is Brian in the studio on November 30th? We'll give you more details on that. Just send us a private tweet or an email. But yes, we will do an open studio. But for more information, please send us an email. We also have one from May Ann. Too bad you don't send fans their I'll volunteer to win those airfare to see you live. LOLB, ha ha ha, pulling an arm. Yes, unfortunately, we do want to do that. If we were a very, very wealthy radio station, we would send like business class seats to all our fans all over the world to come here to watch me do my thing in the studio. But unfortunately, we cannot do that. So for you guys who are overseas, you guys can just tune in and listen to me and all the fans that day. It'd be fun. It'd be heartwarming for you guys to tune in that day. We also have, man, you write a lot. You really love this program. That's very overwhelming. Thank you very much. We also have from Keiko. She actually wrote in Korean, though. She said that she's sick. She has a sore throat, and she's telling me not to get sick myself. But, Keiko, it's too late. I have a sore throat and a nose cold. Is that even a word? Nose cold? I know Koreans say kogamgi, which is like a nose cold, because my nose is always stuffed all the time. But I'm trying my best. I'm taking my meds, and I'm going to get back as soon as possible to back on track and be healthy again. Right now, I'm going to talk about the next song. This is from the 2008 film, Slumdog Millionaire. I know you guys know this film. I haven't seen it. The funny thing is I have it on a Blu-ray DVD, but I haven't seen the movie yet. But I bought it because I know it's that good. And it's about the kid in Mumbai who wins the game, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? I wish I could be that lucky to be a millionaire. Anyway, this movie was extremely popular all over the world, not just in Korea or the States, but all over the world. And it made people see India in a different light. It's really a great film. I recommend you guys to watch it. I'm going to go actually see it tonight on my DVD player. So here's A.R. Rahman with J-Ho from the Slumdog Millionaire original soundtrack. Once again, that was A.R. Rahman with J-Ho from the Slumdog Millionaire original soundtrack. And right now, unfortunately, it's time to wrap up this show. And I just want to remind you to stick around still because we have 1013 Main Street with An Jung-hyun next. And today's show, we're going to end with Change the World by Eric Clapton from the Phenomenon original soundtrack. And this was requested by Keiko. And I'll be back tomorrow. This is Brian Jew signing off. Peace.